Hi, I'm Captain Larry Bell with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
Get down here, Panther Point, all the way up to Cottonwood Bayou. All this areas in here, our water's beginning to start to drop out on us again now. We're starting to, our lower tides in the mornings. Tides starting to come back late in the afternoons, evenings if you're fishing that late. But most of you are going to be fishing morning times, mid-mornings. So that said, when you're in these areas, you want to be looking at these drains that are coming out of these back lakes all the way from Panther Point all the way down to Cedar Lake, even up to Twin Lake. You can get into those. There's some areas there where you've got some little lakes that jump out into the bay system. Got nice little guts in there. Get on and find the deeper edge of it. Get up in there, look for your bait working in these areas. Kind of explore a little bit. Down south burners have been good in any of the colors, really, whatever you want to throw there. Purple Rain, Supernatural, White Ice have been three of the ones that I've primarily been chunking in these areas. And then, of course, the regular model. Watermelon Red has been good. White Ice has been good in these guts and these drains. Like I say, we're in a transition phase from that full moon now, so you kind of want to start transitioning that bait up a little bit bigger. Start with a medium or smaller bait, and then if you think that bite's good enough, then transition up to the bigger bait. Go to the supermodel or go to a soft dine, go to a corky. Work all these areas in here. Work this bigger profile, smaller profile. There's a lot of these baits that are in play right now so that you can really locate and you can see what these fish are really wanting to hit. As you continue to work these back lakes, again, pay attention to your tides and see if you're able to get back up in some of these back lakes. If you got a good skinny water boat, just be careful with that, because when that tide really does start to drop out when that moon's setting, it's really running out of there. So you can kind of put yourself in danger a little bit if you don't get out of these back lakes in time. So just either stay out in the mouth of it, fish out around the mouth, fish up in the gut, fish back in there. Nice muddy areas, look for grass. Again, look for your bait. Find all these little areas in here and work all these things. You'll find some nice trout and you'll find some nice redfish stacked up in some of these. All right, up here on Ayers Island, Rattlesnake Point, all this Rattlesnake Island area. Work this deeper water, starting out early, getting in that 3 to 4 foot range. Water temp is upper 60s right now, starting out the day. If it's just not had very cold weather yet to really push the water temps down. Every once in a while, yeah, but for the most part, this water temps, upper 60s, climbing into the low 70s by midday or even late morning time frame, depending on how much sunshine it's getting. But work any of your down south. Work your regular model down south, any flavor that you want to throw. It's fine. You got darker water that's up in here. It's really dirty because of the oyster boats. They're up here just reaping havoc on everything that's going on. So take that into consideration. Noise-making baits, your soft dines, your corkies, fat boys, topwater baits even, any of that kind of stuff. A bladed jig if you want, like a redfish killer, something that's going to create noise, vibration in the water to help these fish locate where that bait is. Main thing in here is making sure that you're locating your bait, working shorelines, working edges. If you got big grass pothole areas that you can get on and wade, all that kind of stuff, then that's great. That's the stuff that you're really going to want to look at and pay attention to. There's been some nice box trout that's been caught off this shoreline. As you get a little further down in here, there's some few scattered reds that are coming up off the ICW, and they come in and cruise around that island right there. Work all that stuff. Take your time with it. They're nice deep grass beds. You can get out there, especially now up here in the Ayers system, is when you get that tide that really drops out here. It allows you to get a little bit further away from the shoreline, get out there to some little bit deeper shell pads that usually you can't get to. But that said, make sure that the oyster boats are not sitting there doing circles around them up there and screws all that up for you. So take that into consideration. Work these edges. You may want to even get out on the ICW side. Work your plastics off that deeper edge when the water drops out. Get it down into 4 to 5 foot of water and see if those fish are hanging off that edge right there. That's just another one of those things that you can put in your back pocket and work, especially up in these areas here. Look for your trout. Look for your redfish. Flounders are back in season now that the season's back open. There have been a few that have been caught laying up here on the sides of these little islands that are here off the ICW. So something else to shoot for as well. Port Bay, off the edge of this big flat right here. All this area right in here. Again, we're starting to get our tides starting to drop out of here. So these are the areas that you really want to kind of start looking for. If you know other areas that you like to fish, that's got deeper drops, deeper edges, guts that come off of those. Those are areas that you're going to want to look for your fish in. That's where these fish are going to be dropping off of. They're going to run off these flats, and they're going to drop off in these drains and these guts and these cuts and these edges that are like this. Fish those edges. Great location right here. You got two things that are in your favor. You've got a big grass flat that's over here to the right, and you got big drop that's over here toward Port Bay. And you can work this thing all the way around if you want, all the way around to the point, down to the point of Port Bay as you go further south. The great thing about this is you can get up on the flat. Been a lot of bait hanging up there on that flat. It's been pretty skinny, so a topwater bait has been really good. If you can control your depth with the baits, then the soft dine has been good because it doesn't sink that fast. You can even throw your floater, Fat Boy, in here. If you work those really well and you can control those, then you can work those just like a topwater bait, just below the surface. Double D has been pretty good in some of these areas. The great thing about the Double D, it's an ascending bait, so once you pull it down, it's going to come back up, so you can really keep that thing just above the grass if you want. If you're able to, you can really work the bait in these areas. If nothing's happening up on that flat, even with that bait that's pushing up in there, get off on the edge. Sometimes these fish like to have that security, so they'll drop off that edge like that so they can keep themselves safe and not have to worry too terribly much about birds above them or any type of porpoise later on trying to get in there to them. So these edges where you're fishing 3, 4, 5, 6 foot of water, maybe put you on a 3/16 ounce jig head when you're throwing into that 5 to 7 foot of water early in the morning, so it gets down there so you can really work that bait and you can keep it down into that water column in these deeper edges. Just work your plastics, your down south, whatever flavor that you want. The water clarity in here has been pretty good. It's got a nice color to it. Purple Rain has been good. Magic Grass, Chicken of the Sea, Bone Diamond, and White Ice, all in the Supermodel, and the same flavors in both the burners and the regular have been good. But again, if you've got other flavors that you want to throw them. Try them and see what's going on. This time of year, typically, like sometimes you're like your cherry red or that burnt orange mirror lure Little Johns have been really good. Just something a little bit different that the fish maybe haven't seen a whole lot of. Gets that reactionary strike that you're looking for. But these primary areas here, you're finding good box trout. There's lots of good box trout. Few scattered redfish every once in a while, a little bit different areas, but your primary focus here, if you're going to fish this, is you're going to be looking for box trout that's going to be hanging off this edge.
Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Larry Bell.